So where are we now?
So last week we sorted out that if E1, E2 form a system of equations with solution space S1, then the solution space of E1 plus E2 comma E1 or E1 plus E2 comma E2 is the same as S1. We solved it the same way by taking if X1, Y1 belongs to S1, then
Nice. Okay. So one thing that we have seen is if I have E1, E2, then if I replace it with E1 plus E2 and E2, the solution space is unaffected.
Yeah.
So now what if I take E1 minus E2 and E2?
E1 minus E2 is the same as E1 plus E2, but before that you multiplied by minus 1. So, and that we've already seen doesn't alter the solution.
Okay. So again the solution space is unaffected.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we generalize and give an operation that will preserve the solution space? Say I have E1, E2 till EM. So EM equations I have. Okay. So one thing now, if I replace EI by say E1 plus E2, and the rest all are all same. Now, do you think the solution space will be preserved?
Yeah.
I'm replacing EI by E1 plus E2. Okay, so now let us take a smaller number of equations. E1, E2, E3. Okay. Now, if I replace E3 by E1 plus E2, now do you think that the solution space is same?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, Shravan, do you want to give an example to support your claim?
Say we have a linear system of 3 linear equations with 3 variables, and which give a solution. And you're replacing, say, the third equation with E1 and E1 plus E2. Then you're effectively losing whatever the information E3 is providing. So then you might end up with multiple solutions.
Okay, so we will just take one system of 3 equations. Okay, so 3x plus 4y plus 5z is equal to 12. Then 2x y plus 7z is equal to 8, and x minus y minus z is equal to minus 1. And this is one system. Another system is 3x plus 4y plus 5z is equal to 12. 2x minus y plus 7z is equal to 8. Then the sum of this 5x minus 5y, sorry, plus 3y. Right. So now we are basically seeing what could be a more general transformation that we can do to a system of linear equations that preserve the solution space. So if we just had E1 and E2, and if we replace E2 by E1 plus E2, we saw that the solution space is invariant. In general, what can we say? So here we are just considering replacing the ith equation by E1 plus E2.
We have to replace one of E1, E2 if we are adding E1, E2. Can't replace E3.
Right. Sunil, what do you feel about it?
Can you repeat, Shiv?
No, I just asked. So no, Akka made a statement, right? So what do you feel about it?
Yeah, what was that statement?
Oh, okay. Her statement was, if you cannot replace EI by E1 plus E2, you cannot replace any equation with E1 plus E2, but it should be one among E1 or E2. Okay, so to give a more so Akka, how are you saying this? Okay, we will just take this example. E1, E2, E3, and E1, E2, and E1 plus E2. So how can we? Oh, that S1 is not equal to S2.
If we look at it like sets and the intersection is what we are looking for, right? So by replacing one of E1 or E2 with E1 plus E2, we've already shown that those two are equivalent. So that intersection remains the same. And the third will then intersect with that. But we can't replace the third because that totally loses the information, like Shravan said.
Totally loses the information. Okay, so one way. Okay, so now one way to see this is let us just consider another system, E1 and E2. Okay, and let us call this system, the solution space to be S3. Now, what can you say about S3 and S2?
It's the same.
It's the same, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So now, basically, the question is comparing S1 and S2 is same as comparing S1 and S3. And clearly, in S1, you have an extra constraint, and it need not be. Again, we cannot say for sure that S1 is not equal to S3, but it need not be. Is one thing which we can say. Okay, right. So, yeah. How can we generalize the kind of transformations that can act on a system that will not affect the solution space? Can you think of anything else? Let us just take E1, E2, E3 till En. Okay, so now we saw that if I replace Ei by E1 plus E2, there's a problem, right? So what can I do? What other thing can I mean? How else can I replace Ei?
Ei plus some Ej.
Ah, very nice, very nice. So if I have Ei, I can replace this Ei by some Ei plus Ej, and the rest are all same, and then the solution space is unaffected. Okay, so if you're able to see it, great. Okay. Now, what if I, instead of Ei plus Ej, what if I replace Ei by Ei plus Ej plus Ek?
It would be same.
Would be same, right? So, how are you reasoning this out?
So by looking at the one with Ei plus Ej, if you consider that as one entity, right?
Super,
So
super,
then-
very nice, very nice, very nice. So we know that these two are equivalent. We again, by the same principle, we know that these two are equivalent, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and so these first and this is equivalent, right? Very nice, very nice. So this is basic strategy in algebra, or a basic way of basic approach in algebra. Nice. So you use a previous thing and establish it here. Okay. Right. So now, how else can you generalize? So we saw that Ei can be replaced by Ei plus Ej plus Ek, right? So this is one transformation. So can you further generalize this?
What if we do like cumulative? So E2 will be replaced by E1 plus E2. E3 will be replaced by E1 plus E2 plus E3. So on, so that En is replaced by E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus whatever till En.
You are saying that E1 as it is, E2 by E1 plus E2, then E1 plus E2 plus E3, and so on till E1 plus E2 plus En.
Yeah.
So how will you establish this equality? So okay, before going into this, right, let us discuss a little bit of notation here. That will be very useful. Suppose we have just E1 and E2, E1 and E1 plus E2. Okay, so here we saw the equivalence, right? So how did you see the equivalence for this?
Sir Shiv, I have one more generalization.
Okay.
So where each expression is replaced by the sum of all the rest of the expressions.
Each expression is replaced by sum of all the expressions. So then it becomes just
all the rest of the expressions.
Oh, okay.
Sigma minus E1, sigma minus E2, like that.
Oh, rest of the, wow, this is okay, okay. Very interesting. So instead of E1, you have E2 till En. Then okay, so there is a again a nice notation for this. We can just write it as
Sigma minus E1.
summation Ei and I not equal to 1. Summation Ei, I not equal to 2, and so on. These are all just a notation. Wow, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so are you able to see the, are you able to see equivalent? Okay, yeah. So I was just talking about introducing a notation here. Yeah, so this E1 and E2 equals of E1, E2, E1 and E1 plus E2. So how did we see that?
This we did by taking x1, y1, for example. If it belongs to S1, does it always belong to S2 and the converse?
Right, right. So okay. So if x1, if say if a solution x0, y0 belongs to S1, then you checked if x0, y0 will also belong to S2, right? So how did you verify that?
We did it with examples.
But okay, so you're convinced, right? 100% sure, right? Or is there a gap there?
No, convinced, yes.
Fine. So as the necessity of a proof is to convince ourselves more than to convince others. So here I'll just introduce a notation that will be useful here. So we can just consider each equation to be something equal to 0, right? We can always rearrange it, right? So
yeah.
So if x0, y0, so I'll just call this as just an x. Okay, let x be equal to x0, y0. Then what we have is we have E1 of if since x is a solution of system 1, then we have E1 of x1. So E1 of x equal to 0 and E2 of x equal to 0. That is, if I substitute x0 and y0 in equation 1 and equation 2, I get 0. Right. So now the question is, does x belong to S2 also? Right. So we will just check if it satisfies the equation 1 of system 2, which is E1. Of course, E1 of x is definitely equal to 0 because this is the same here. Now the question is, E1 plus E2 of x, is this also equal to 0?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So E1 of E2, so E1 plus E2 of x, is it same as E1 of x plus E2 of x? Yes, you're able to see, right? Because any equation has this x part, y part, and then the constant part, right?
Yeah.
So E1 plus E2, when you take E1 plus E2, you add the constants, you add the x, and you add the y. So I'm just breaking it up.
Yeah.
Right. So we can see, right, this is a very nice, convenient notation to see things. Right. Yeah. But again, whenever we're using notation, we should also keep the meaning in mind. I mean, until the meaning is clear, we should be little. Once it is clear, then fine, it can go into us, right? So this is one way of checking. And then now I have say x dash belonging to S2, x dash belongs to S2. So this implies what? E1 of x dash is 0, and E1 of x dash plus E2 of x dash is equal to 0. This is what we have. Now will x dash belong to S1? Why?
Because E1 of x dash is 0, so E2 of x dash should also be 0.
Exactly.
So it will belong to.
Right. So very convenient notation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have got some very interesting conjectures. That is a transformation of this type, this pyramid type, and this is another very beautiful summation. So now, can you see if it is preserved?
I'm seeing it like, say you have a set of numbers. You're just, it is same as having a negative version of that, something like that. So,
Okay. So you're sure that this is that the solution space is not has not been affected.
yeah,
Okay.
but I'm yet to find a way to prove it.
Actually, I'm trying to find a example. Right.
Uh,
Okay. So at least the first E2 E1 plus E2 plus E3, that pyramid structure. So that what can we say about that and the initial system, the S1 and S2?
Yeah, that is preserving.
Okay, right. So this is preserved, right? This is actually, this turns out to be a very interesting case. Okay, I think we need to build a little more of our tools. But yeah, let us keep this question also in mind. What can be done step by step? Can you give step by step transformation?
so you can do E1 with E1 plus E2, and E2 with E2 plus E3, and E3 with E3 plus E1.
Oh, now we cannot do E3 with E3 plus E1.
Why?
If you do it, it will become E1 plus E2 plus E3, right?
No.
No, so now
E3 plus. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Now we have lost that. This thing.
We have lost that, right?
Okay.
We have lost that. We have lost that. Okay, yeah. So at this stage, right, I will show you one transformation. You let me know if it preserves the solution space or not. Okay. So I have, say we have E1, E2 till En. Okay. What I will do is, instead of replacing E1 by E1 plus E2 or E1 plus EI, can I replace E1 by E1 plus K times EI? K is a number.
Yeah.
And the rest are all same.
Yes.
Okay. Others? Is it clear now? Okay. Now we'll just take this EI. If I replace EI, the rest are all same. E1, E2. If I replace E1 by K times E1, then is the system still the same? So if EI is 2x plus 3y minus 4 is equal to 0, I'm replacing this with 4 times this. So 8x plus 12y minus 16 equal to 0.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So now if I replace EI by K times EI, the solution space is unaffected, right? Right.
Yeah.
So now if I replace first equation by E1 plus K times EI, E2 till En. Now what can I say about solution space? It is unaffected, right?
Yeah.
So let me go one step further, and if I replace E1 by E1 plus some K2 times E2 plus K3 times E3 till Kn times En, and the rest are all same. Now is the solution space preserved?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So there is so in algebra there is a term for this. This way of writing is called a linear combination. So you have this E2, E3. These are all different equations. So I am just adding. I'm just doing a weighted addition. So this is just called a linear combination. Okay. So if you have some equations like E1, E2, Ek, then alpha 1 times E1 plus alpha 2 times E2 plus alpha K times Ek is a linear combination of this. There, these are all numbers. Okay. So now I'll pose a question. Now I have a system E1 to En, E1 to En. Now I'm replacing each equation in the second system. Now this is system 1, system 2. So each equation in system 2 is a linear combination of equations from system 1. Okay, each equation. And here some of the KIs could be 0 also, some could be 0 also. It is not necessary that everything, but at least there should be one non-zero. Okay, that of course it depends. Yeah, you could have 0 entries also. Okay, so now in system 2, each equation is a linear combination of equations of S1. So in system 2, each equation is a linear combination of EIs. Okay, so now what can we say about S1 and S2? So one thing is, while taking linear, so now I'm giving a transformation here. While taking a linear combination, I might ignore E3 altogether. You get it? So E3 is always getting a weight 0 in all the equations that I get here. This also could happen, right? So it is clear that at least from this, that it is not necessarily equal, right?
Yeah.
But if you have to compare S1 and S2, what can you say? The solution space of S1 and S2, what can you say? Which is bigger, or is there any relation?
So every solution which is in S1 will be in S2, but
Yes.
not necessarily the other way around.
Excellent.
S1 subset of S2.
Yes. So every solution that belongs to S1 clearly belongs to S2, right?
Yeah.
Now, for the other case, for every solution belonging to S2 to be able to belong to S1. Now, suppose if I have every equation in S1 can be expressed as a linear combination of equations, suppose in the same case, right? So now I've just my first condition was every equation in S2 is a linear combination of equations of S1, and now it also happens that every equation of S1 can be expressed as linear combination of equations of S2. If that is the case,
then the solution space will be
equal, right? So by using the same argument, so if so I have S1 and S2, and since every equation
S1 subset of S2, S2 is subset of S1, S1 is equal to S2.
Correct. So yes, so any x belonging to S1 will belong to S2, because S2, each equation in S2 is a linear combination of equations of S1. And similarly, if x belongs to S2, also implies x belongs to S1, because any equation in S1 is linear combination of equations in S2, right? So basically, we have the equality here. Now we will take an equation. We will start with 2x plus 3y is equal to 4, 5x plus 8y is equal to 9. Okay, right. So now we will try to replace each by a linear combination of 1 and 2. Okay, so can we think of we'll just call it as E1 and E2. How shall we replace the equation 1? We will say we'll replace this by 3E1 plus 4E2. That is the first equation. Second equation is 2E1 plus 5E2. Okay, right. So can you compute and tell me what is this 3E1 plus 4E2 and 2E1 plus 5E2?
Sure. First one is 3E1 plus 4E2 is 14x plus 21y is equal to 28.
Is equal to
28.
28.
And second one, 2E1 plus 5E2 is 29x plus 46y is equal to 53.
Okay. So for now, let us just forget these two fellows. Okay. So just focus on 14, 21, 29, 46. Okay. And 4, 2, 5. And this 2, 3, 5, 8. So, of course, by you evaluated this and gave this as the final answer. But have you come across this operation anywhere before? So we have like 4 numbers here: 2, 3, 5, 8, and 3, 4, 2, 5, and 14, 21, 29, 46. Right? So you did something now. Of course, you just took 3e1 plus 4e2 and 2e1 plus 5e2 and you computed it and gave this here, right? But have you seen some other operation which does exactly this?
That is while solving equations using elimination method.
Solving equation by
We do
elimination method. Solving equation by, yeah, we do something like this. Yes, true. But there is one operation that I think at least you might have heard of it.
Matrix.
Yes. Matrix is a word which Shravan told. So now do you see anything coming out here? So Shravana, the question is, now we have this 3, 4, 2, 5, right? I mean, these are the things which are using to do the linear combination, right? So looking at these 4 numbers, can we say that now we are using these linear combinations? I've transformed the system 1 to some other system, right? Now just looking at these numbers, can I say if the solution space is unaffected or not? So one thing is, we can say that definitely S1 is a subset of S2. That is clear. Right. Now we need S2 also to be subset of S1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now looking at this one, is it possible to tell anything? Or what property should these numbers satisfy for the other solution set to be a subset of the first one?
If we find one more linear combination which leads back to the initial S1, then we can establish that they are equal.
Right. But okay, so if you're able to find one more linear combination, that is great. But is it always that only if there's a linear combination there's an equivalence? Is it the case? No. Or in other words, if two systems are equivalent,
then you can find a linear combination.
Oh yeah. Is it yeah? Is it should it be true always? So we are seeing a linear combination is one way of transformation which is actually somewhat preserving the solution space, right? You can say that covers all, or every equivalence is covered by this. Okay, right. So I have this 2, 3, 5, 8, right? So I'll just I'm just ignoring the x and y from the initial system. Okay, and the transformation that I am doing is with 3, 4, 2, and 5. Right. So 3 times E1 plus 4 times E2, 2 times E1 plus 5 times E2. Okay. Now in the final system, if I have to find just the first entry, I mean the first equation coefficient of x, how will I find it? So this is okay. Let me just write as 3 times E1 plus 4 times E2 and 2 times E1 plus 5 times E2. Now, if I have to find the coefficient of x in the first equation, what operation should I do?
First equation means 3e1 plus 4e2.
Yes. 3e1 plus 4e2. In the 3e1 plus 4e2, if I have to find the coefficient of x.
Calculated wrongly actually. 3e1 plus 4e2 is 26x plus 41y is equal to 48.
Okay.
26x 41y is equal to 48. 41y is equal to 48.
Okay. Right. So if I just want the coefficient of x in 3e1 plus 4e2, what should I do?
into 2 plus 4 into 5.
3 into 2 plus 4 into 5.
It is just 3 into 2 plus 4 into 5. Right? 3 into 2 plus 4 into 5. Or is 3 into 2 plus 4 into 5.
First row with first column.
First row with, yeah. First row with first column. Yeah, I can just write as first row and first column. Now if I want the coefficient of y in the first equation, what should I do?
First row, second column.
Into 3 plus 4 into 8.
3 into 3.
3 into 3 plus 4 into 8.
8. 4 into 8. Yeah. So now, have you seen anything like this before? Remember? Still no. Okay. No problem.
Matrix.
So you're taking first row and second column. Okay. And similarly, next second equation. So second equation, x coefficient would be
Yeah.
2 into 2
Second
plus
second
5
row,
into
second row first column, second row first column, and second row
yes. So this is second row
2 plus 5 into 5.
first column, and then similarly the second equation and coefficient of y would be second row second column, right? So this is exactly, so this is what we call a matrix multiplication. So if you have two matrices, if I have to say I have 3, 4, 2, 5, and then I have 2, 5, 3, 8. If I have to multiply this, so we generally take this, multiply here, and then and so on. Or there is another way of seeing matrix multiplication. I mean equivalent way, which is suggested by what we have observed now. Say I have a matrix like this 3, 4, 2, 5. I'm multiplying it with another matrix with row E1 and E2. Okay. So then what would be the answer here?
3 E1 plus
3E1 plus
4E2.
4E2. Next is
plus
2E1 plus
2E1
5E2.
plus 5E2.
This is another way of visualizing it. So what do I mean by 3E1 plus 4E2? Now this is E1. 2 and 3 is E1. So 3 times E1 would be 6 and 9. This is 3E1 plus 4E2. 4E2 would be 20 plus 32. This is nothing but 26 and 41. So this is another way of saying matrix multiplication. So if you have two matrices, then we can just focus on the first matrix, and it is as though the first row of that matrix is taking a linear combination of the rows of the second matrix and putting it in the first row of the answer of the product. Second row is taking the linear combination of the rows of the second matrix and putting it in the product, and so on. It's basically linear combination, matrix multiplication. Okay, right. So here, with our example, we started with the initial system. Yes. So the initial system is 2x plus. Okay. So the initial system is 2x plus 3y is equal to 4, 5x plus 8y is equal to 9. And then the transformation, we can just let us represent it by this matrix 3, 4, 2, 5. Okay. So this matrix is transforming the initial system into another equation. Right. Now we clearly, from our previous analysis, we know that the solution space of the initial system is a subset of the solution space of the final system. That is clear, right? But looking at this, yeah, but is it true the other way around also? For this initial system and for this transformation, is it true or not? How do we find out? Okay, so at this stage, just think about what all we have discussed today. So today we made some observations that replacing E2 by E1 plus E2, that single concept we generalized into what? Replacing each EI plus linear combination of other rows, and we saw that still the solution space is preserved. And then we considered general linear combinations of equations of system 1 to get system 2, and then how the solution space is affected. So we saw these two, and now we have just again built a notation of this transformation with respect to linear combinations in the form of a matrix, multiplication, right? So these are some things which we have seen now. Now for this particular example, what can we say about the initial system and the final system? Is the solution space preserved or not? How do we find out? Is the question we have stopped right now.
Inverse.
So looking at this, are you getting Any questions, or what are your thoughts? What should be the further line of investigation?
Yeah, so we need to characterize what kind of that matrix will enable us to do a reverse also. That's what we need to
Oh,
find
what
out.
kind of a matrix will enable us to do the reverse also? So you're saying it is purely the property of the matrix, not the property of the initial system. So no matter what the initial system is,
Actually, we need to check if the matrix multiplication is commutative or not.
wow. Let us just let me just put it down. Matrix multiplication is commutative or not? Okay, right. So let us call this matrix to be T, the transformation matrix to be T. Initial system, let us call it to be A. Okay, and it is giving me a final system which is B. Right, so T into A is equal to B. Right. So yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, if A into T is will give you the same.
Okay, so if T into A is equal to, okay, if T into A happens to be A into T, then what's the consequence?
Then the solution space of A and T are same.
Wow, my God! What? Also, how are you saying this? How are you making this statement?
Conjecture.
Akka, you are also saying something, right? What are you trying to say?
Yeah, I thought that it depends on the nature of transformation only. That if we are able to find an inverse transformation, then it will be equivalent.
Oh, inverse transformation. Okay, very interesting. Actually, if you see, right, the initial system and the final system, while modeling, have you completely modeled the systems with a matrix? Have you completely modeled the systems with a matrix?
Not
Okay,
yet.
not yet, right? So what is missing?
The right hand side.
The right hand side. The right hand side is completely missing, right?
Yeah.
So for now, we are into a region where, okay, we are analyzing what kind of transformations will actually preserve the system. Okay, and this right hand side numbers are kind of a block. Okay, so what people did is they considered a system called a homogeneous system of equations. So homogeneous system is a system where the constants are all zero. Okay, the most simplest kind of a system of linear equations, but still it is not as simple as it may look. Okay, then we'll just consider a simple homogeneous equation. So 3x plus 4y plus 7z is equal to 0. X minus 10y plus 10 power 6z is equal to 0. Then 3x plus, I am running out of imagination. See all the predictive numbers. Minus 23z is equal to 0.
As complex as the previous.
Oh, is it? So if
At least in terms of finding solution.
In terms of finding solution, is it? So Sunil and Akka, do you agree with Sean's statement that it is as complex? Now, if I ask you to quickly give me a solution for this.
0, 0, 0.
Yeah, right. 0, 0, 0 is always
that is always a solution for a system of homogeneous equation.
Right. So we'll just, again, this is just a name, homogeneous system. Okay, but homogeneous system, we know surely that all zeros is a solution. Trivially, it is a solution. This is called a trivial solution, right? But is there any other question?
Other non-zero solution. Do non-zero solution.
Got it, Sean. Right. So someone is saying that there could be other non-zero solutions, but do you agree? Do you think that there could be other non-zero solutions for this homogeneous system?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So
Yes, yeah, there could be other.
There could be. Okay, then first we will see some. Try to construct a example of a homogeneous system where it has solutions other than a trivial solution. Maybe you can just fix with x and y. Yeah, with X and Y, we had already generated these systems, right? We had already generated systems of this. Yeah, so I don't think it will be difficult. Or if you are even if you're able to give a example with a larger system also, it's great.
You can fix XY and play with Z to get all the three different equations.
You can fix X, Y and play with Z.
I mean, start with some value of X and Y, and then by changing the coefficients of X and Y, you can determine what the coefficient of Z should be.
Oh,
I'm sorry, you fix all the three and you just play with the coefficients.
Looks like there is no solution possible other than this trivial solution.
see, just now you were saying that that could be possible, could be
Yeah.
possible. Unless we are sure that, unless we have one concrete example, we are not proceeding. We will just ditch the entire homogeneous system.
Yeah, just
Okay.
tried with couple of examples. Yeah.
Okay, I have three equations.
Oh, you have three equations. Oh, okay, fine. So,
X plus Y minus Z is equal to 0. And 2x plus Y.
okay, yeah. So I would want a system from each one of you. So X plus Y minus Z is 0. Next is 2x.
2x plus Y minus 4 by 3Z is equal to 0.
Oh,
5x plus 5x plus 2y minus 3Z is equal to 0.
Still, I'm not getting any solution.
Okay.
Any solution other than 0.
Okay, other than the trivial solution. But okay. So then, okay, for system like with two unknowns, right? You were able to generate infinite solutions, right? Or something.
Yeah, they were not homogeneous.
Okay, so now can you try to construct the homogeneous with that?
Having infinite solutions. Huh?
I have one random example.
Wow, great. Okay, random example is
2x plus y plus z is 0.
2x plus y plus z is 0.
4x plus 2y plus z is 0.
4x plus 2y plus z is 0. Sounds very poetic and rhythmic.
6x plus 3y plus z is 0.
6x plus 3y plus z is 0.
So other than 0, 0, 0, 1 minus 2, 0 is also a solution. 1 minus 2, 0.
Oh, so you cleverly removed the effect of z. Right. Okay, so what we will do is, so at this stage, we will identify what all the questions that are in front of us now that has arisen in our quest to solve a general system of linear equations. Okay, so generally, what can you say about transformations that preserve solution space? Generally, transformations that preserve solution space. Then Shravan's transformation, is it genuine or not? Then, okay, this example that we had covered towards the end, this one. So this transformation of 3e1 plus 4e2 to 2e1 plus 5e2, is it preserving, right? Yeah. So, and yeah, okay. We can consider this as a first with 4 and 9, and then we can consider it with 0 and 0. We can consider both the homogeneous part and this written format and see if the solution space is unaffected or not. Correct. Anything else? Right?
Yeah.
So linear combination is once, yeah, we can say it as one set of, I mean, as of now, it appears that it is one a subset of all the possible transformations. And this, you can use these linear combinations to study equivalence that is there, right? But apart from linear combinations, what else is there? These things are still yet to be studied, right? Yeah, correct. So we could study transformations in general, and we could also specially focus on this linear combination transformations and see what more we can understand. It is also something that depends on the system of the equation. So for now if we just focus on homogeneous system, okay. So is it that if a particular, and if we just fix ourselves to homogeneous system and just studying linear combinations, okay, linear combination transformations, then is it just enough to study the transformation itself? If one transformation is preserving the solution space for a particular system, will it preserve for all the systems? This is also a question, right? Because you have also made the statement that just if I look at this T, I can find out, right? So this is also this interconnection between the system, what role the system plays, even in homogeneous system, will it play a role or not? So these are some of the questions. Okay. And maybe if possible, you can also now try to see, now suppose if I have given k terms of a sequence, if I have a k terms of a sequence, what all different degree formulas it can have. This is also something, I mean, at this stage, if you're able to make any observations there, that is great. Yeah, so these are some things. So and also, yeah, and also finding examples of homogeneous systems which has solutions other than the trivial solution.